Hello, today we're going to be looking at baby camping sleeping bags. Now, there are a few different options on the market now, certainly more than when we first went camping with our eldest 5 or 6 years ago. And today I'm going to be showing you the sleeping bags that we own. I'm going to start with the Morrisons Outdoors Big Mo, which is the blue sleeping bag here. This is the Big Mo, which is for children aged 2 to 4 years. You can see it's larger than the other sleeping bags I've got here. They also have a Little Mo, which is for children aged 6 months to 2 years. And the sleeping bag also comes in two different warmth ratings. So this is the synthetic option, which is suitable for temperatures from 5 to 15 degrees Celsius, which is, I think, 40 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. And they also have a down version, which is suitable for temperatures down to -6 degrees Celsius or 20 Fahrenheit, which is seriously cold. I haven't tested the down version, so I can't comment on that, but I do know that it's very lightweight and quite a bit more expensive as a result. Now, this sleeping bag is specially designed for camping, so it's really nice and warm. And now let's take a look at some of the other features. So the sleeping bag has fold-over cuffs, so that your child can use their hands, and then at bedtime you can fold them down to keep their hands warm overnight. It also has a really nice velvet material around the collar for comfort. The zip does not have a cover on it, which might be an issue if you're using the sleeping bag for a younger child. It hasn't been a problem for our preschooler who uses this sleeping bag. And there's also a second zipper at the other end if you need to do nighttime nappy changes. Now, we've used this sleeping bag down to about 10 degrees Celsius, and we've been really happy with it. Our child has been toasty warm, but it was quite an outlay. So if you're only going camping once in the summertime, you might think it's more than you can justify spending, in which case I have two other suggestions for you that are a bit easier on the budget. So first of all, this is the Jojo Maman Bebe 3.5 Tog Cozy Sleeping Bag. And we actually use this sleeping bag at home in the wintertime, so you get more use out of it. And the sleeping bag comes in 3 different sizes, so there's lots of options there. Now, in terms of features, this sleeping bag has removable sleeves. You can see that they pop on and off, and that's actually a really useful feature for camping. Because it can be quite warm in the tent early in the evening. So you can put your child down in the sleeping bag without the sleeves and then add them on later when you go to bed and it's got a bit chilly. I mean, obviously this is in an ideal world and you'll probably find your child stays up far later than you'd like them to when camping, but you can live in hope. This sleeping bag also has a second zipper for nighttime nappy changes, and it has a nice little cover over the zip at the top so your child won't scratch their chin. Now, the downside of this sleeping bag is that it isn't so warm. So I would say that this is only suitable down to about 15 degrees Celsius, and that's with plenty of warm clothes on underneath. When the temperature drops below that, I've found that I've needed to add a blanket under the child's arms or sort of snuggle up close to them. So this is really only suitable for high summer. Even in the UK and France, in August, the temperature can easily drop down to 12 degrees Celsius overnight. So another budget suggestion that I have for you is this one. It's the Mikafen 3.5 Tog Baby Winter Sleeping Bag. I'll leave a link in the description. Now, we haven't actually used this sleeping bag for camping, but we've started using it overnight in the winter at home, and it is definitely warmer than the Jojo sleeping bag. It's more thickly wadded, and it also kind of comes up higher around the neck. You can see there's a collar on it here, and I think that helps to keep some of the heat in. So this sleeping bag might enable you to go a couple of degrees colder than the Jojo sleeping bag. Now, in terms of features, this sleeping bag also has removable sleeves, but they are zip off, which you can see here, and it has some nice fold-over cuffs for keeping babies' hands warm overnight. I really like the nappy change feature on this sleeping bag. You can see it zips around from here all the way around the bottom, and you can actually unzip that and change baby's bum without having to take any part of them out of the sleeping bag at all, so you can keep them nice and warm. I think that's the best nappy change feature of any of the 3 sleeping bags here. Now, one other thing I wanted to talk about is size and bulkiness. So the Morrisons Outdoor sleeping bag comes with its own stuff sack, which you can see here next to a large size water bottle. And actually the sleeping bag is quite compressible within that stuff sack you can see here, so you could squish it down quite a bit further if you needed to get it into a rucksack or a bike pannier. One other comment I would make is just to think about what will happen if the sleeping bag gets damp. So the Morrisons Outdoor sleeping bag is made of a synthetic material, which I think would dry off quite quickly. We've not had any problems with dampness. Whereas the 2 other sleeping bags have got a cotton outer, and if they get damp, they will take quite a long time to dry off. So take care that your child doesn't push themselves against the side wall of the tent and get their sleeping bag wet. So there we go, 3 different sleeping bag options for camping with a baby. I hope that helps you in making your own decision, and I hope you have a fantastic time on your camping trip.